There's an obvious fact. People are here today hoping for a return to normal. In the meantime, things are changing rapidly. Entire industries are becoming unnecessary or obsolete. Sure, you can get around with a horse and buggy, but today most people drive their car. The difference is that changes are happening so rapidly that it's not a generational event. It's in a matter of years or even months. Without a relatively stable transition period, many will be left out of work, and the displacement will have a negative impact on certain sectors of the economy. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. Today we're going to look at what's happening with the store closures, with of course what's happening with the jobs directly connected in with that, as well as other businesses that are simply letting people go, kicking them to the curb. And you will see that with so many companies, these furloughs become layoffs. Those layoffs will then add to the numbers. But as we are looking at this data here today, we need to understand there are always going to be pockets. I was looking at a comment just now talking about how fantastic the economy is. Look, if your job hadn't changed from the beginning of 2020, you're still employed. Maybe you've got family around you, they're all still employed. Your industry is totally fine. Everything is the same for you. You're going to see it differently than somebody else. So we have to look at where there are weaknesses, the fragility, because things might be okay today for you, but understanding how the system connects in with each other, understanding how one business can fail and that affects your business, or one country can fail and that affects your country. People are always looking at things with the blinders on, and hopefully I am here to shed some light on that. I've got a lot of information here in this one video. I'm going to try to jam pack it in. Let's go. I thought I would start off with this article here because it's going to set the tone for the rest of it. 76% of American CEOs say that they may shrink office space. We already know that this is the trend. I'll show you some more information in just a second, but this is a fact. They don't need as much office space. Sure, we might have a large percentage of the people go back to their offices, but they're not going to need as much as they did previously. So even if there is expansion with the company, not everybody's going to need to go back to work physically. For a lot of these businesses, you look in the downtown core of any major city, it's the big banks, the insurance companies, and so on. They've got these huge skyscrapers. They occupy, let's say, 50 floors or even more. Do they really need all 50 floors? You're going to repurpose 50 floors or 40 floors or whatever it might be? I don't think so. So there's going to be a lot of empty space. That is a huge problem, not just for who's owning and operating and managing the building here, but so many other businesses that are connected in with that. What happens underneath a lot of these buildings? There are stores here that exist that people go under. In Toronto, they have the Path. There are others, businesses that are around. There might be little shops here that these people from these 50 floors are going to every day. You've got different places to eat food and different shopping centers and so on that are no longer going to be so busy as a result. That means hiring less people, not having so many people come in, more part-time workers and full-time workers, and so on. Well, take a look. Among the CEOs, 76% told Fortune that their company will need less office space in the future, and 28% say they'll need a lot less office space. And that's the finding from a Fortune survey of 171 CEOs in collaboration with Deloitte between September 23rd and 30th. So we're getting pretty new information here, and it gives us some insight. It's not all CEOs, but certainly it's 171. So that tells us what's been happening in the industry today. This one here was sent to me by a subscriber, and I have to kind of scroll through it to give you some insight and to show you on the picture what this actually looks like and what it means. As we noted last week, there is nearly 12 million square feet of vacant office space now spread across San Francisco, including 5.6 million square feet of unleased space and 6.2 million square feet of space which has been leased but is now sitting vacant and actively seeking a subletter. Okay, huge right there. And it just goes on. For context, the 1,070-foot tall Salesforce Transbay Tower at First and Mission, which is the tallest building in San Francisco, contains 1.3 million square feet of office space spread across 59 floors. In other words, there's roughly 8.7 Salesforce towers or 516 Salesforce towered floors worth of empty office space in San Francisco at the moment. That is potentially 67,000 and 91,000 worker bees. Okay, that's a lot of info, I know, but here's how it looks like, and it just shows you Salesforce tower equivalency for 11.8 million square feet of office space. Huge, huge, huge. They get in some more details here, but it just gives us a little look at how intense this is. It's not just San Francisco, of course. You look at other places around the world, and essentially it is the same thing. If they're not doing this, they don't need as much construction. People in the construction have been building up, and that might be in the residential areas, because if they're not going to be here, maybe they need bigger homes to go to. That's one of these factors. Okay, if they don't need to go to the office space, maybe residential will do better as a result. I think there's more to it than that, but these are the things that we should be thinking of, not just because we're interested, but if people are looking for trends to invest in, certainly this is something that hasn't really hit the investor mentality and it isn't known yet, and you're not going to see Jim Cramer talking about it, but these are things that are coming through, and we should be paying attention. The American Bus Association estimates private buses provide 600 million passenger trips a year, second only to commercial flights. Pantuso said that 80,000, look at this, 80,000 of the 100,000 employees in this industry have been furloughed this year. And think about this. These furloughed people are not on the official numbers, right? If you're furloughed, you're not laid off. So you're not going to end up on those statistics. What other industries are like this? I'm sure there are so many. I've only shown you a small percentage of it, but yet I see the comments all the time. I see the news articles all the time. I see the people cheering and saying, oh, everything's so fantastic because the unemployment rate is doing better. Things are getting better. The economy is fantastic. You're not even including furloughed people on your numbers. Never mind all of the manipulation of that statistic in the first place, the U3 unemployment rate. Oh my goodness. If you want to see a full breakdown of that, all you got to do is do a search for The Money GPS unemployment rate fake, and you will get my videos that break it down and why that is the case. The American Bus Association said in the industry usually basically seeing $15 billion in revenue a year. In 2020, bus companies only brought in $4 billion. That's actually surprising, but I guess people still need to get around. It's not as if everybody is staying at home, and it just shows you how this is such a widespread problem. Many people wouldn't be thinking about this. Well, buses, I mean, it's just something we take for granted, but suddenly a large percentage of these people are not traveling. They don't have to move around from place to place, so you will see people getting laid off. Like I said, doesn't matter what industry, we're noticing in many different industries in many parts of the world that are really taking a hit today. Exxon Mobil is very close to completing its workforce appraisals in the US and Canada and expects to unveil, guess what? Job cuts. Its chief executive told employees in an email on Wednesday. So we know that this is going to affect a lot of people, and it's in an industry that supposedly is doing fantastic. What's happening here? The US is energy independent, and yet they are cutting employees. This is the way it works, of course, and it has an impact on not just these individuals, of course, but the businesses surrounding them. And you look at the real estate and so on, how this has really taken effect for different places over the years whenever there are problems in this industry. I want to run through a bunch of these really quickly. Don't want to spend too much time. I'm just trying to give you an update on this. Carter's to close 25% of stores as leases expire. They do claim that they are going to be opening some stores, so we'll see what happens with that. You know, at the beginning of the year, there were supposedly going to be thousands of stores being opened up. I'm not actually sure that's the case. It looks like we're just going to have record closures and not much opening because of all the empty stores, all the empty, let's say, commercial real estate that has so far been sitting empty, and we've seen it being boarded up. We haven't seen any companies going in and buying that all up or renting it up or whatever it might be. So we'll see what happens with this trend. I'll keep you up to date. Disney layoffs, 8,800 part-time union workers among those being laid off. Thousands and thousands of people are being laid off here at this one company. Usually it would bring in so much money, provide so many jobs, and you're seeing today how many are being cut. Dunkin' Brands holds acquisition talks with Arby's owner Inspire Brands. So there are always going to be mergers and acquisitions, and a really prominent event that will happen along with all of their different companies that are potentially suffering throughout these periods. You tend to see that a lot. That's all I'm trying to say. This is just one example. Cathay Pacific to cut 6,000 jobs, Axe Cathay Dragon brand. And this is yet another company that's been cutting jobs. This industry here, of course, we have seen the airlines just getting destroyed. And it looks like it's actually going to get worse here because the situation, as it prolongs longer and longer, of course, this is going to affect more people. Gap to shutter 350 stores by 2024 in plan to exit malls. So you've got that obvious information, the Gap store, what's happening with the investors in this company. Then you look at the jobs that are affected in these 350 stores. Then I want you to think about what that means for the malls in general. And then you just keep going. You keep thinking about, okay, well, then the food court is going to take a hit as a result. What about the houses in that area? If the mall was kind of an attraction, well, suddenly you don't have so many people there and so on. It just continues, and you could see how that impacts the economy as a whole. Vacancy, prices at New York hotels are down $200 with more pain to come. More than 200 of New York's roughly 700 hotels are closed at least temporarily. I saw some statistic that showed that they are at approximately 10% occupancy in New York. I mean, it's just unbelievable to think about how a company can operate with only 10% of their occupancy. It's unbelievable. I don't know how to put it into words, but this is one industry that is surely going to be worse off next year than it is today. I always give you updates on what's happening with robotics and automation and so on. Take a look at this. Brain Corp expands commercial relationship with Sam's Club to power in-club autonomous robots and connected data services. So this is very interesting. They seem to be going in this direction, not just Sam's Club. Walmart had something similar. They started bringing that out. Other companies are starting to roll this out. It's happening right now. You could argue one is better than the other. Maybe you want a person there, maybe you don't want a person there. But I'll tell you right now, Flippy the robot that's flipping burgers is going to happen. And the floor scrubbing is going to go autonomous. And maybe you just need one person around just to check up on it. And maybe it doesn't get all the spots, but I don't think at this point they really care anymore. I think that they are looking at any way to cut costs, whether that means getting rid of some of their employees or perhaps bringing in some level of automation. This goes all the way through into the financial industry as well as commercial real estate, simply getting that out of there. And this just says right here, beginning this fall, the retailer will add 372 autonomous floor scrubbers manufactured by tenant company, a Brain Corp partner, to the hundreds of units it has already deployed. It just goes on and on. Essentially, what we're looking at is an industry that it is expanding. So if people want to know where there is actually development, certainly robotics and automation are something that are becoming very, very popular at this time. Really quickly, Americans working from home face internet usage limits. As more people rely on their home broadband for work and school, providers are reinstating data caps. This is interesting. Just wanted to bring it to you to give you some food for thought of what we're seeing today, some huge changes, and these disruptions and these dislocations that happen either in the markets or in the economy could present an opportunity for investors or maybe businesses. People are interested in developing new businesses that maybe weren't really viable 6 months or a year ago. That's the only reason I bring it up. I also want to interject right here at this point. Please let me know in the comment section below. I know that if you stayed this far into the video, you are interested in what I have here. I always talk about the news. I always talk about the information. But when there is an opportunity to just interject what I think happens in an industry, like I just mentioned here, where there are opportunities for people today to put their money in, or new businesses or so on. If you want me to mention that where, there's certain a different angle on that information, because that might help you in your investments, or maybe you're thinking about starting a business and so on, all that. If you want me to talk about that stuff too, I can always slip that information in. I don't give financial advice, but certainly I could be a little bit more clear about that. And so let me know. That's all for this video. If you found it informative, hit that thumbs up button. When you do, you are supporting me. I want to thank you for that. If you want to learn how to make money online, you need to take a course. Those courses can actually be $1,000, $2,000 and above. I've seen. If you want to just learn for free, the AmazonGPS.com. If you are interested in the financial system, learning it top to bottom and have it explained extremely easily, I have these 2 books which will do that for you. Check them out at the link in the description if you want the audiobook instead, themoneygps.com. Hang on a second, don't go anywhere. Have you seen this video? A lot of information here. You definitely want to check it out. Click it. I'll see you there.